Welcome back, everyone, to the Voodoo Podcast. We took a little bit of a hiatus there during a very hectic 2025 haunt season, but we are back and better than ever here in season 4 of this podcast. I'm joined by a pioneer in the haunt industry who is always such a pleasure to talk to in person, but we're going to get a chance to talk to him and pick his brain when it comes to his passion for the supernatural, as he is the mastermind behind Blood Moon Paranormal, to everything he does for the Old Joliet Haunted Prison, and whether that is for the haunt itself or for the city of Joliet as well. He is also a graduate of the film school out in LA, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. He's got some similar skills to I don't know, a certain broadcaster. I don't know, to my own horn, but I think his skills are way ahead of what I've got, because movie making is a whole different animal. But I'm pleased to welcome to the Voodoo Podcast Sparky, A.K.A. Zak Wenzel.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How was your haunt season? First off, rest in peace, Sparky. Tell us a little bit about your haunt character, Sparky, and why he thought it was a good idea to go up against the warden for a spot that may or may not have even really been up for election in the first place.
Yeah, so me and Adam as the warden, Adam Saigan as the warden, me and him in line always butt heads. And it's just an act. We love each other. We're really good friends. We always like mess with each other in line, call each other names, kind of like fight back and forth, like banter. And I was like, man, it would be really funny if I tried to take his job. I knew I was going to lose at the end of this. My whole point was to rally up and, get all these actors involved as well. So there was stuff happening behind the scenes with the actors. So that was really fun. There was, the actors were wearing the pins as well as I was passing them out. Um, and then, at the end, of course, I would lose. But a lot of it was, Adam didn't know about. So like when I first brought the pins in saying vote for Sparky and I first started the election, he had no clue about it. So of course at the end he had to come up with something that would get me back, which was the death of Sparky. Um, which yeah. Yeah.
I have the mask cards here. It says, for those that didn't get one this year, these were incredible. Never to be missed. Old Sparkster, September 26, 2012 to October 31st, 2025. Shouldn't have ran for warden. And on the back, your life was meaningless. You barked up the wrong tree, puppy dog. That's why you got the chair. I'll remember the way you made the inmates feel with all of your false promises. Rest now in God's loving arms where there is no pain or sorrow. So goodbye forever, in all caps. I'll see you on the other side, or not. Rest in hell, Sparky. Oh my goodness, the level that this went to is just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's plans for next year. So it ain't over. It ain't over. The election may be over. Because there was no election. They don't it's a job. When you become warden at a prison, it's a job. It's something that you like level up to or graduate to in a sense, a position that's offered. So there is no elections for that type of position. So
Yeah.
I was never going to win that. And but it's not over. It's not over. So
Well, how did the season go for you as Zach, or even as Sparky as a whole as well? I know the very last night you guys were open was the chance that I got a chance to come out and see the show, and boy, was it more of a winter show at that point, because the snow hit and we had some weird early November weather. But the rest of the haunt season itself was pretty good for the most part, as far as weather goes.
Yeah, I mean, when it snows at the prison, it's beautiful. Like you got the music going, the lights, and just like there's something about, and it's chaos there usually. It's total chaos, but there's something about the snow at the prison that just brings the calm. Like it's all of a sudden it's just like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like it's just calm all of a sudden. Um, it was a pretty good season though. The weather was fairly decent throughout. There was a couple of rainy nights, which being the production tech at the prison, the rain is awful there. It floods. It's pretty awful in the outdoor scenes. I feel bad for the actors, but we try to do what we can do to accommodate for them. And I feel bad for the customers walking through because of the puddles, but it's me back there and whoever can help me during that time because there's chaos in other departments happening. But we thrive in it, and I'm back there pumping the water out as best as I can because it's just everywhere. But we get it done. We get the job done. So that's what matters.
Yeah, being your own personal sump pump at that point. The night we went when it was snowing, I have to admit it wasn't that bad though. I mean, maybe a couple puddles in that final act, that third attraction, and then of course snow on the ground everywhere where you're outside is uncontrollable at that point. But that first walkthrough when you're walking into the initial attraction, the first attraction for anybody that's been, it's in the annex part of the prison, and it was pretty dry in the woods path leading up. All the new attractions that you guys built on there were just amazing. That little greenhouse and everything leading up. So I mean that was phenomenal to see. But then I think the only thing because of the snow that was closed off was in that third attraction, which was the tilted room. And that's just going to be slippery and unsafe. So that's
Yes,
it.
yes,
But that
definitely unsafe when it's cold and wet out. So we had to close it off.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, we saw it at its basically its full capacity on a snowy night, and as you said, it was quite the scene. A little chilly for some, I think, but as a hockey
Yeah.
player, I didn't mind it. I mean, it was cool to get one more night in there. But you mentioned other than being a sump pump for the prison, you are the production manager. So what does that kind of entail for those that don't get to see your day to day behind the scenes?
Yeah, so as the production tech, my main job there is to get the show completely turned on, unlock all the doors, go through, turn on individual things such as projectors. Some animatronics need to be turned on individually, some switches. It's a prison. All the power should be in one spot, but it's not. So it's a whole thing of going through, unlocking doors, big heavy doors, uh, just that type of deal. Beyond that, filling fog machines, fixing things that break throughout the night. So a lot of the time I'm on call until something breaks, whether that be from an actor or a customer. That could be something also such as like a slip hazard. So last year we had a situation where we had some fog spill out of a barrel um, onto the ground and it became a slip hazard. So I had to go in there with some sawdust, do that, all that nonsense. So different things like that. Before season, I'm also on the build team. So I'm building stuff throughout season and helping come up with creative ideas along with the rest of the team. Couldn't do it without the rest of the team. Tyler, Angie, Adam, Emily. I'm missing some, but there's a ton there to list off. And yeah, so I build, fix things, and turn stuff on and off. So that's pretty much it.
You mentioned that great team there, and I was privileged enough to see you guys both from a guest actor standpoint, but also as a patron or a fan walking through each year. What's something about that OJHP family that and the camaraderie that maybe people from the outside don't always get a chance to realize looking in?
Probably that we're all in this together. Like we know that we're going to be going through here, and there's not necessarily heat, there's not necessarily AC. We're in the weather together. If we have to work out in the rain, we're working out in the rain. Um, we just know that we're in this together and it's a good time regardless of what we're working on. Every team gets frustrated with each other, but I honestly haven't experienced that too much with this team. So that's been really refreshing. And a lot of us, so myself, Emily, Angie, when Jason Chuckles is able to be there and help work with us, and Tyler all came from Evil Intentions, and we were all on the build team at one point together working there. So like getting to work with that team again after years like has been really cool. I mean, we all know how to work with each other, so it's been really, really cool to reconnect and build that bond again with them. So yeah.
When we had Tyler on, he called it the kids when he was referring to some of the youth that goes on at the prison. But you talk about that veteran presence, and a lot of you, yes, had time at Evil Intentions as well. I want to go back to the start for you, as I typically do with my guests. When did you kind of know you wanted to get into the haunt industry, and where have you been? Where has that taken you throughout your years? And of course, we'll get to the Blood Moon side of things as well eventually too.
Yeah, for sure. We got time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've always been into like horror and like, you know, Halloween is my favorite holiday. Like just growing up in general, I just have fond memories of like decorating with my mom and whenever we would decorate, we would go all out. So like we had a full cemetery in the front yard. We would do something in the garage, like create a scene in the garage, and then that would be like our theme for the year. And then like we'd open it up on Halloween and pass out full size candy bars. And I would dress up and like scare the kids somehow that are walking up. So I did that for like a long time. And in like say 2017, I was 17 years old. I was like, oh, I kind of want to try that like at an actual haunted house. Like that'd be cool to work at an actual haunted house. And my friend at the time, at in high school, she was like, "Oh, I work at Statesville," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. So like, what's the process?" She took me there, and I auditioned, and they hired me on. So I worked like I would say probably about half a season just to kind of get a feel for it. Um, and funny enough, they had put me in a spot where the spot was called Sparky. So my first pro haunt, working at a pro haunt for the first time, was where I got the name Sparky from. It was in Ward 7. It was pretty cool. Met a lot of cool people there. Um, Working at Statesville, I just worked there for a year. I just didn't work for me. I just wasn't about it. With the ghost hunting, I had known about Evil Intentions at the Casket Factory because they had those ghost hunts and whatnot. And I was like, I kind of want to work there. So every night I would take the 1 hour drive up to Elgin to work at Evil Intentions. And yeah, I continued Sparky there, even though it was, different character at Statesville technically. I just took the name because I was like, all right, I already kind of been working with this. I kind of want to evolve this a little more. So maximum security was the room I was in at Evil Intentions. And that's kind of where my story begins a little more because I worked there a full season. And after that season was the switch to the newer side of the older side of the casket factory. So like the new portion that would be Evil Intentions. We had
Right.
to tear down the old side and move it to the new side. And I was a part of that teardown team and eventually became part of that build team. And that's kind of when things got a little more serious for me with the haunt industry. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember that transition over, and I think we've talked about it with folks here on the podcast. I'm not sure if we talked about it with Tyler or anybody else that we've had from those years, but yeah, I think it was something to do with something structurally with the ceiling on the one side. Maybe there was a bad storm during the off season, and then you guys had to completely switch the show over to the opposite side of the casket factory. And I mean, man, that's in my backyard. I'm in Schaumburg, and that going there all those years, both sides were just incredible, and it was crazy to see the change from one side to the other, but still being Evil Intentions. It wasn't like the show had to be drastically redone. It was still all the same tropes. You're in a different direction. And my favorite part about that building was always the fact that you think you're free, you think you're out, and you get to the gift shop and everything, and there's still another little extra surprise. I think you give it away at this point because it's not there anymore. But the chainsaw would still hit you as you're walking out. You're like, yeah, we got through it. There was the gift shop, the little museum there with all the different artifacts that were found on the ground, and then within the grounds. And then yeah, you're walking down the stairs and out you go through those double glass doors and that tile. Why does it smell like gasoline over here? That's weird, but yeah, next thing you know. So, but yes, now you're at Old Joliet. Tyler has told me that there are some tunnel systems in the prison, even on the annex side. I'm not sure if you've gotten a chance to go down and investigate some of those. I know you've done an actual investigation at the prison, but
I have not investigated the tunnels,
no.
but I am aware of them. Yes, they're pretty notorious. They supposedly connect all throughout, like to the main side, back to the annex. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is that they're like a maze down there. So might need some breadcrumbs to try to figure your way back. Because yeah,
Get the little string going and
yeah, pretty much.
have it taut on the other side. Hey, pull me back.
Run out of string. Yeah.
Yeah, no, That'd be interesting. Now, I'm sure that's not really something you can incorporate into the show, but something that you would definitely want to check out because, as we've mentioned and alluded to, that you're definitely out ghost hunting all the time, and you're that basically the mastermind behind Blood Moon Paranormal. You did Project Limestone, which you're wearing the sweater for, which was on the Old Joliet Haunted Prison. We got a chance to talk to Christine Johnson about a lot of the history. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk to her husband Mike as well. But you guys got a chance to sit in at the prison. What was that whole experience like? And I know there's a lot of turmoil that goes on around it as well with the city of Joliet. And I mean, you were able to push through and still create some content from it though.
Yeah, so I, Project Limestone as a whole was supposed to be this larger documentary, and it did come out to be about 2 hours. But there was more to it than just two investigations because we create these documentaries that are a lot smaller. So like that's usually just one night at a location, and that's what we post. We post history, all that kind of stuff. But this was supposed to be a further deep dive into the history of the old Joliet prison. And we did do that. We did get Christine Johnson and several other people involved in that to talk about the history of the prison. And she is so knowledgeable. She knows everything about that place.
Yeah.
The first investigation that we did was on the main side of the prison. That is not run by 13th Floor Entertainment Group. That is a separate organization that runs that. And we did that investigation on the main side. And then for the first time ever, we were able to investigate the women's side or the annex of the old Joliet prison, which is the haunted attraction today. Um, that place, so haunted. The women's side, in my opinion, is more active than the main side, just from experience. But I'm also there more, so like you don't really, it's hard to say because I am on the women's side more than the men's side. Um, but it's crazy how just nature starts to take back. A lot of the older sections of the prison on the women's side are very decrepit and being taken back by nature. Um, we are at some point looking to kind of resecure that to make that usable at some point. I don't know what the company's plan is for that. I can't speak for them. That's all I really know about it. They want to use the full property, which I don't blame them. It's a beautiful property. There's a lot of space. Um, but yeah, so we got access to a lot of areas that the customers don't typically have access to. That includes the solitary confinement cells, B block and A block, and various other areas throughout the prison, such as the old infirmary. Um, it it was really surreal to be able to do that. I mean, we were the first group to be able to investigate that, and got a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird EVPs, noises, footsteps. I had a very strange experience in there that didn't make the episode because we weren't filming at the time. Um, so yeah, it's just surreal to think.
Yeah. Now that changeover of adding or that company getting more of the grounds, would that affect the attraction at all? And you guys, do you have any kind of plans to, I mean, I'm sure 13th floor has plans to kind of expand even from what they've got going on right
That's
now, but
yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Is 13th floor wants to use more of the property. So
right, right. So would that wouldn't change anything from, I know there's maybe a little bit of bad blood from the other side, but that wouldn't affect you guys at all, would it?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I don't know the details. I just know that we want to use more of the property. Which it's part of, the land there. It's part of like the land. It's just there's portions of it that aren't usable because of the condition of the building. Um, but we just want to resecure that at some point and make it usable.
Right.
Which rightfully so. Why wouldn't you want to use, 150-plus-year-old prison to its fullest potential? So yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, we talked to Derek Seltzer as well about some of his experiences in that prison. Can you talk a little bit about? I know you said you had the one off camera, but even some of, maybe during the nights that you're acting, or even when you were doing Project Limestone, what were some of those interactions that you had or experiences with the paranormal?
Yeah, so I mean, while I'm acting and like when I'm doing stuff, I try not to focus too much on like paranormal stuff just because a lot of that can be perceived as like I could see something, but maybe it's just the lighting or the effects or, whatever's going on around me. There's a lot of moving parts. So like that's honestly, and like I believe the actors when they tell me their stories, when they experience stuff throughout the night, but I also take it with a grain of salt, respectfully, guys. Sorry. But I take it with a grain of salt because you don't really know if what they're seeing is something that's an effect that they haven't seen before, or like maybe there's a noise that happened because something broke and I'm supposed to go fix it. So you don't really know. Like it's hard to say. But as far as I know, Derek didn't believe in ghosts until we I asked him if we could investigate a little bit. This is before filming Project Limestone, and he's like, "Yeah." And he came with us and investigated with us for a little bit before the show opened that night. And some weird stuff was coming through with an Estes session. Now, an Estes session is where we take a spirit box, which a spirit box is this device that cycles through radio waves. Spirits are said to be able to communicate through it. An Estes session is where you plug a pair of headphones, noise canceling headphones, into the spirit box. Someone is wearing the headphones, and what's happening is the people that are not wearing the headphones are asking questions, and the person wearing the headphones is shouting out whatever they hear through the spirit box. So that takes out the possibility of assuming what a response might be. So, like, if I have an open spirit box and I'm like, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" and I hear something come through, I'm gonna try to assume that that's like a color that it's trying to say. But putting on those headphones, the person can't hear that's saying the words, can't hear what the question is, so they can't just assume. There was some stuff coming through that was lining up with what we were asking. So I think we made Derek a believer that night. Um, so that's one thing that happened. When we were filming for Project Limestone, we were in B block, which is one of the older blocks in the prison that we don't currently use. And I was shooting B-roll, and I was on the lower floor of it, and there's rows of cells on either side. So like I was looking up at the cells, and I looked down, I looked up, looked down, double took because I thought I saw what looked like something crouching down, staring at me. It was completely naked, gray skin, bald, kind of no facial features. It was weird. It's very weird. It freaked me out. I not the type of person that usually claims to see like figures like that. I'm very like skeptical, even though I've been doing the ghost hunting for like 13, 14 years. I saw that and I was like, I don't know what I just saw. Like, that's weird. Um, it didn't go into the documentary because I didn't get it on film and we were shooting B-roll. It was during the day. Um, but it was weird. I ended up doing my isolation in that area that night, which is like 15 to 20 minutes by yourself in an area in the dark. And I was in there and lots of footsteps, a lot of noises, that kind of deal. We had heart rate monitors on. My heart rate monitor was through the fucking roof. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to, if
Oh,
I can
you're
swear.
good. You're good.
Okay, okay. Yeah, my heart rate monitor was through the roof. Yeah, it was crazy. But the weird part was throughout that season, I occasionally had actors come to me and like share with me their experiences that they would experience throughout the night because the local ghost hunter there, so they're going to. um and there was one thing they kept sharing, and it was a scrawny white/gray figure that they would see.
Hmm.
And I did not tell that story until like a year later when we were working on releasing the documentary. And throughout that season, I heard it like three or four times about that figure, and I'm like, that is weird. Like, it's validating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I don't even know. Like, it was so strange. Like, I didn't expect anyone to bring that up to me, And even though they were telling me, I was just staying quiet. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I saw what I saw. People are going to come to me and tell me what they see or what they see throughout the night, whatever. And that was one thing that they kept seeing. Now, this past season, haven't heard about it. I No one said anything. Minor stuff like I think I got touched. I have a bruise on my leg that's, came out of nowhere, which you're acting. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get bruises out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of it was very weird. I mean, that place is very active. I've never been hurt while ghost hunting ever. I've had some weird stuff where um weird feelings, but never gotten fully hurt while ghost hunting. So like if you work at the prison and you're watching this, don't worry, you're not gonna get hurt. Don't worry.
Yeah,
So
and this is a professional because you guys, most people in this haunt industry that we talk to travel, including myself to an extent, to see different haunts or to see different conventions and such. You travel to go and experiment with the paranormal at multiple different haunted locations. You're talking about, of course, Project Limestone, and that was the big one, especially here, because not only do you work at the prison, but it is like the one for the Chicagoland area, basically. But you've also released or are releasing a couple of uh, projects for Blood Moon Paranormal. The most recent one looked like a prison in Missouri. That
yes, we love
was
our prisons. We love our
yeah, oh yeah,
prisons.
prisons have got to be a hot spot for that, especially abandoned ones. But what are some of the ones that you're working on now, or even some of the ones that could be coming soon?
Yeah, so we currently I'm so backlogged. I'm I'm
Good though,
so
it's a good problem
backlogged.
to have.
It's a good problem to have until you're backlogged.
Yeah.
Um, so the current thing we're putting out right now is called Blood Moon X. We're celebrating 10 years of Blood Moon by releasing 4 episodes, 3 of which we're returning to 3 locations that we did classified investigations on. A classified investigation is where I select where we're going, and the rest of the crew has no clue. So they're just getting in the car with me, and I'm taking them somewhere, and we're going to do an investigation. So the first 3 are 3 that we're returning to that we did that at, and the fourth one is a new classified investigation at a location that we're not revealing until a week or two before the episode comes out. So
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting. All right. Well, the ones that you have done so far, this Missouri one, and even I think was there another one that you posted recently? I'm drawing a blank, um, but what were some of your, and not to give it away because people will have to watch along and see what were some of your encounters or experiences that you were excited about, or even just some of the fun stories that you could tell from your trips to these places with that team.
like recent trips or like just in general.
Just in general. I mean, maybe even some of the best ones because you've been all over the place. I mean, how far are you traveling for some of these? I mean, we're talking. I've seen the Missouris, the Ohio's, and such. You're going like almost completely across the country, right?
Yeah, I mean, the furthest we've gone is to Rhode Island for the Conjuring house.
Okay.
Um, so the actual house that inspired the Conjuring movies. Um, we've gone to Pennsylvania, West Virginia. We've a lot of things like Iowa and East is what we've usually been hitting. Just because there's so much on the East Coast and like so many iconic places, like you know, uh, West Virginia Penitentiary is one of them. Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Penhurst Asylum. Like, there's so many iconic locations out east that's mainly where we've been focusing. I'd like to go out west at some point, but it's a bit more of a drive and few and far in between with the locations. Just because there's so much land out there. Um, but it's always fun to travel with the crew. We make our stops. We have fun. We have a good time with it. Sometimes we play games in the car. Um, Sometimes, everyone's sleeping in the car. Just depends on the day, how the trip is going, how long the trip is, but it's always a good time. I always have a good time with everyone. Um, we've rented an RV a couple times. Um, made our trips in an RV, which I want to buy one so badly at some point because like going on a trip in an RV is it's so much fun. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of your Blood Moon crew is crossover with the prison crew itself, namely Emily, who is your girlfriend, who plays Cheese at the prison, for those
Yep.
that don't know. What's it like having the companionship there and for you guys to be able to pair off of each other, not only haunt acting, but also with Blood Moon?
Yeah, so I mean, we get along really well. She really grounds me with a lot of things. Like I'm overthinking stuff. She'll tell me what she kind of thinks would be a good idea for something, whether it's Blood Moon or for the prison. She really grounds me with a lot of things. And when we are in those environments, we keep it very professional. Like there's some people that don't even think that we're in a relationship at the prison. And I'm like, no, no, we've been dating for like 6 years. Like, no, no, we've been together for a while. Sorry. But no, it's really cool. It's really cool that I get to share these experiences with her. And she's on every single investigation. I kind of told her that is necessary and a must. She hasn't missed a single one since she started in the crew. Um, but I met her at Evil Intentions. I met her while acting there, so we were in the same scene together. Um, which I don't usually condone dating like at the same haunt. Um, the thing is like it worked after season. So like I I tried to avoid like relationships during season because they always go bad. You always watch them go bad by the end of season. I always see it happen. So like it worked after season, and obviously it's worked for 6 years during and after season. So um yeah, it's nice. It's really awesome that that connection that we have. So
We don't really get a whole lot of that because we're a home haunt, so
yeah.
there's not really a whole lot of inner dating going on. But
I hope
yeah,
not. I hope not.
I went around to guest act with you guys at Old Joliet and State, well, Hell's Gate, Zombie Army, and then Disturbia, Basement of the Dead. Like pretty much everywhere I could go in that 2024. Hopefully in 2026 I can hit more locations and crazy make my crazy schedule even crazier. But I did hear some of the horror stories. They're like, "You're so lucky you don't have haunt drama and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, because running a home haunt is stressful as it is." So,
Yeah, which
yeah,
like at the prison, they're really good about it. Like they nip it in the butt really quickly, which I am like so grateful for because like other haunts that I've worked for, like even haunts that I've like guest acted for like 1 or 2 nights, like see so much drama in that short period of time, and I'm like, that's crazy. I'm gonna act here for a night and I'm gonna go home. So like at the prison, like they really do nip it in the butt pretty quick, which I'm really thankful for. We just have great leadership between Angie and Tyler, like great leadership there. And yeah, it's awesome.
and we've seen the success stories, whether it's yourself and Emily or Alex and Tyler, who of course we've had on the podcast as the couples episode, but they're at different haunts, so it's a little different than interdating within the actual same haunt itself. But yeah, I mean, you got to be careful out there, I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely,
So
definitely. Just make sure it works after season two. Just make sure it works after season.
was Emily skeptical as well when it came to paranormal activity, or was she fully on board as soon as you jumped into Blood Moon with her?
So she was kind of skeptical. She was working at Evil Intentions. So like it's haunted. Like the building is haunted, not quite to the extent of what it was made out to be. It's all story for show. Um, but it is an active building, and I know she had investigated it several times, and she's into the witchy stuff, like she's Wiccan. So she's into that kind of stuff. So she was kind of skeptical. I think I made her more of a believer. Like I said, I go in questioning a lot of things to begin with. So like when I go in with an open mind, but also skepticalism, if
Yeah,
that's even a word.
yeah, no,
Um, But yeah, so that's yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, now it's full fledged, and you guys are traveling. We're sponsored here by Frank and Fuel, which I know a lot of haunters were fueling themselves with this past season, and as it has basically just hit the market, and like Casavan is doing a great job promoting. We'll promote it here. We want to know what fuels you, especially on these paranormal investigations. So, what are maybe some things that you're packing with as far as snacks, energy drinks? What's keeping you alive? Usually I get a chance to ask people what's keeping them going during haunt nights, right? And that could be extremely stressful, both physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. But when you guys are doing these investigations, are you getting a chance to eat something, to have some snacks? I mean, it's not like you're pulling up and having a slumber party at some of these empty prisons, but what you
We
got
don't
cooking?
sleep. We don't sleep too much. It's we're up until like 4 or 5, sometimes 6 in the morning doing this. So I mean we're there all day. So and all night. Um I usually go with either ghost energy, you know.
That's right.
Have to. I've been recently drinking bum energy. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I've been trying to lower my caffeine intake, but I probably shouldn't on investigations. I should probably bump that up during investigations. Um, Usually we will order food to the place. So DoorDash or pizza delivery driver will pull up to an abandoned asylum or prison with food, which
Like, do I
is
have the right address?
yeah, which is pretty funny. Or we'll go out and grab it. One of us will go grab it real quick. So we usually do pizza. We've done other food in the past, just depending on what's in the area. Sometimes it's tough, like it'll be in the middle of nowhere. So we always check beforehand to make sure that there's food somewhere around. If not, we'll bring like something. Um, because it's sometimes it's just nothing around. Um, I would like to drink Frankenfuel more, but only if there's more flavors. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you
Ooh, I
get
think
what
it's
I'm
coming.
saying.
I think it's coming. I am just one of the various media sources that has the sponsorship with Frank and Fuel, but I'll talk to the other Mike and see what we can get cooking there as well. I know I need to get more Frank and Fuel as it is. I'm out. So Mike, if you're hearing me, but for those that are looking to get more of the current flavors that are there, whether it's the sugar free or the regular, it is great. For a guy myself, I'm not a big energy drink guy. Like I think I've said before, I'll do pre-workout when I'm going to the gym. Maybe a little creatine in there. Actually, yes, definitely creatine. You gotta stay consistent on that. But other than that, like maybe I was doing some liquid IVs here and there, but a lot of sugar in those. So yeah, when Mike had me test out some Frankenfuel, I was like, whoa, this is a game changer for sure. I feel like I could um, not only drink a couple of these because they're good, but also do twice as many things in a day in the same 24 hours. So for those that want the code, I'll post it here in the video. I'm pretty sure it's just frankenfuel.com/, is it Voodoo Podcast? Yeah, Voodoo Podcast. Yeah, that should be what it is. But I think that's a
Oh yeah.
15% off. Don't quote me. I haven't been on there in a while. Sorry, Mike. Sorry. But it's been a busy haunt season, which I needed some Franken Fuel. I never got around to ordering it. So my actors were even looking at me like, are we getting a shipment in? I was like, uh, my bad. It's just, one of those crazy, hectic months. But it's good to know you guys are fueled when you guys are out doing these investigations as well. Um, so you've talked a little bit about the different devices and the different methods, and people will see the different methods that you use in order to communicate with the supernatural when you're on these investigations. What does some of that kind of cost to you? Because I mean, not only are you paying in gas to get there and mileage and everything, but also are you having to rent out one of these places from whoever owns the building and book like a time, but also bringing a bunch of super expensive gear as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. So starting with the gear, I'm in debt. No, I'm just kidding. So it is really expensive. It's an expensive hobby. Like I probably sank thousands of dollars in equipment. I just bought a camera recently, which we used this past weekend at a location, and it's a $3,000 camera. Um, yeah, it's it's expensive, but it's a really nice camera. It's infrared, so like I'm like love our infrared cameras. But all the equipment is so expensive, and I definitely feel like there's some price gouging going on, but they're the ones that make the equipment and they make it good, so like they can do what they want. So um yeah, when it comes to the locations though, locations can get pretty expensive. Which a lot of people do end up complaining about, which I understand complaining because I get it. Like they're expensive, but at the same time, I'm looking to own a location at some point to offer this kind of stuff. And a lot of the places we go to are very like very, very decrepit. So like they need work, they need help. And like you got to factor in like the payments you're making, the mortgage, the insurance that you're paying, electric bill, if there's electricity, water, if there's water. Some places don't have water, so they have to rent porta potties. Um, you know, the restorations in general, like they're not cheap. Um, I mean, putting a new roof on, which is like key component to fixing these places. Because if you don't have a good roof, then what's the point of fixing anything else? Um, it gets expensive, right? So like I understand where some of these price points come in. Um, and some of them I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know too much about that. That's a little rough. So um yeah, it gets expensive. It gets expensive. Like we have an episode coming out on the 19th of December 19th. Um at the Missouri State Penitentiary. I believe that one costs $1,200. Um again, prison, penitentiary. We had access to four different buildings, including a gas chamber. Um, so yeah, it's an expensive hobby. But there are places that charge way less. For example, the mysterious Monroe House in Hartford City, Indiana, that charges 175 and very active building. So like there are places that charge a lot less than the bigger stuff that we occasionally do. So yeah.
Sure, it is tough because there's not a whole lot of what you do. I mean, you'll see paranormal teams here and there, but you get first of all, you got to have a brave crew to do it, right? And second of all, you have to have the equipment to do it, which is already expensive there. So you'll see these shows on TV, but even groups like yourself, maybe a couple ragtag groups here and there. I'm sure you probably know a lot more about that community than I do as far as how big it gets, but I'm sure it's not as often as you might think that people come along and want to rent the building for that matter. So they got to pay, like you said, they got to pay the bills somehow, right? So, it just depends on location and what they're probably spending on, like you said, rent to keep that place or just even own the land over the years and utilities if there are those, like you were mentioning. So that's why I like a place like Indiana. I'm sure it can be a little bit cheaper if it's a is it a smaller place, that 175, or is it and it's just more
Um,
active?
it's a decent sized house. Like it's like 175 is like a very, very low price in my opinion. But I've been doing it for so long. So like I've gone to places like that size that are like 500 or $600. So like 200 is like a very, very fair price. And they do book up, like their calendar fills out. So with it being a cheap location and like very active, it's very active in there. They claim there's demons in there. I don't believe in demons too much. So um yeah, it's very active, very cheap, very cool location. But yeah, the community is actually like pretty big. It's not everyone does the YouTube stuff. A lot of people actually just do it and don't film anything. Or they do it and they live stream. So there's a lot of people in the community that I think surprises people when they see how big it is. Um, and that's where I think it also becomes tough because like I've been trying to get a location for myself for probably like 2 years now, and it's just been tough because like local governments don't really understand that trying to get a business license in that type of environment where they don't understand the business. But there's and I hate to say it, there's money to be made, but there's also history to be saved. So like it's it's a tough thing to be in because like, you know, you're spending a lot of stuff out of pocket, hoping to make that money back or use that money to put into the building itself. So, but yeah, it's a lot bigger than people think. Sorry, I keep going off on tangents. I feel like I
No,
have
no,
ADHD today.
no, that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of tangents to go off on with this stuff, and for
Yeah.
somebody like me that isn't around it and doesn't well, yeah, I guess doesn't understand it to that definitely not to that extent, but I can see it from the outside. But I like how you said there's not only money to be made, but history to be saved, and that really was shown in Project Limestone specifically to go back to that. But you mentioned people do live streams. I think with you doing it as YouTube and with the film skills that you have, it really kind of enhances the experience that the viewers can get because it's not like you could take the whole country with you when you're going on these things. It's your team and stuff like that. So everybody kind of gets to see the experience that you guys had in its fullest, and it speaks to it when you have almost 11,000 followers on your YouTube channel for that kind of stuff. So people are tuned in. You mentioned that you have a couple good ones in the works coming up, that Missouri one, and then also a couple other surprise ones. But bringing it back to kind of full circle to Project Limestone, you were talking about preserving history and something that was added to. I mean, this goes back to also you saying, here I am going on tangents. This goes back to you also saying like that sometimes the cities don't understand what's going on. It's already hard enough in the haunt industry when you tell people, oh yeah, there's Christmas haunts, right? Or oh yeah, there's like St. Patrick's Day haunts or Valentine's Day haunts or something like that, and everybody's like, what? And the people outside don't understand it. Even sometimes the cities themselves. We saw Adam, Brandon Seigan, and the Nightmare Haunted House, Michael Peters, and them did a collab Christmas haunt last year, 2024, and the city came down and almost, I mean, weeks before it was, I mean, Adam had his whole front lawn decorated still, so they came by and they were like, what is going on here? Halloween's over, all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a lot of pushback in even just the haunt world, but in this paranormal world as well. But there was different pushback when it came to Project Limestone, and it had to do with preserving the history, like you said. Has there been any kind of um, advancements made from your side of things and from Christine's side of things with the city to kind of mutually agree on if something is going to happen with the main prison side and like we were talking about, preserve any kind of history?
Oh, like lifting the ban on the people.
Yeah, I know there was the ban, but also it was just I guess kind of a little bit of a hassle to try to make sure that building and that history stays just that, rather than some kind of a gimmick, right?
Um, so there's progress in some areas and there's progress in some areas and no progress in others. I cannot really go too deep into it. Yeah, it's been a thing. It's a heartbreaking thing, and I wish that this could simply just be over and fixed already. Um, I'm personally not banned from the main side. Christine and several others are, but I refuse to go to the main side until they are unbanned. I don't have a ban on me, but I refuse to. I couldn't go over there right minded and be like, I'm in here right now, but they can't. Like I just can't do it, and I don't understand what the problem is that they can't just lift the ban. They're not asking to work again at the main side of the prison. They're just asking to be able to visit it. And I don't understand what the issue is that they won't let them do that. And the Joliet Area Historical Museum, they want Project Limestone to be forgotten about, mainly because of that Act 3 at the end. They don't want people talking about it. People are still talking about it. The band are still going to these city council meetings and talking to them. And, um, they want this talk of it and this just to be buried and forgotten about. But the only way for that to happen is simply by just lifting the band. That's all that needs to happen. And I don't understand like why they won't lift it. I don't understand why they're having such a hard time understanding that it's just a simple thing. I'm not asking for the ghost tours to come back as much as I would love for them to bring the ghost tours back. I'm not asking for that. I am asking for the ban to be lifted. It stopped being about the ghost tour stuff because that's what it was originally about. That's what I had an issue with because no one would, you know, answer my calls. No one would respond to my emails after they just, pulled the rug out from that third overnight that I was supposed to do at the main side. Um, I don't I don't care about that third overnight anymore. I don't care about them bringing back investigations. I just want justice to be served and these people to have their ability to go to that property again. Um, there's been no progress. There's been like steps, small steps, but every step forward is a step back in a different portion. So like I wish I could say it's two step forward, but it's like a step forward and then like instantly a step back. It's a nightmare. It really is. And I wish that not only like the museum would wake up a little bit, but I wish the city council would as well. Um, it's just very unfortunate, and I wish that things were different. I wish that I could just talk to these people like straight on, but like it's impossible to reach anyone. If you want to talk to the mayor, like you have to jump through hoops. If you want to talk to like the board of directors for the museum, to jump through hoops. Even if that, it's tough, man. Like I don't mean to like rant and like go on and on about this. It's just been a whole situation, and I'm over it. I just want things to be fixed and good to go again because it's like mentally exhausting, like everything. And I have so many other things going on, and it's just like having this like still dwelling over like this cloud, you know, sucks.
No, I get that, and I really understood it when Christine broke it down, and yeah, I understand. There's of course things that can't be talked about here on a public platform, otherwise you'll get a cease and desist. I'm not too worried about my cease and desist. I'm after this podcast, I dare you. But like, I mean, for them to have made you guys jump through all these hoops for something, we were kind of touching upon this with Christine, and I think it's something to outsiders seems so trivial because it's like, oh, it's just a prison, right? But to Mike and Christine and a lot of you guys, it was like a second home, and it was somewhere that they devoted a lot of their time. But at the same time, like I see the trivial argument, which is like the argument I would take towards the city, which it's like if you're really looking at it as just this building, like why is this such an issue? And I know it's way that oversimplifies it. It's way deeper than that. And there Christine was sharing some stories. I implore anybody to go back and listen to that podcast. I think it was literally the December episode of last year. And yeah, 2024 December. And I mean, I could talk to Christine for another 2 hours on that stuff. I mean, that's how A, knowledgeable she is, but also B, passionate. And I think that really came out not only with her, but watching Project Limestone is how passionate you guys are about all this. And it's like, for somebody to be that passionate about something and for it to be such a, I don't know what the right word is, but it's such a, I don't want to keep using the word trivial, but like an almost like a non sequitur that it's like you guys are just looking to basically help the city, basically help them and preserve the history and kind of celebrate that building how it's supposed to be, rather than it just kind of sitting there and them doing their own thing with it. And yeah, I mean, I just you're right. It's probably a lot weighing on you over something that seems so goofy that it's like, why can't everybody just get along, right? Like,
It's a simple fix. It really is. And
yeah,
like I feel like it's not asking for much, like it's really not. Like if the ban was like hell, honestly, they could transfer the ban all onto me. Fine. Like whatever. I could care let I want because I still have the women's side. I still have the annex. I could still be there. If you lift the ban off of them and just put it all on me, give me like a lifetime. I don't care. Like just let them back in. That's all I'm asking for. And like there's other people that are in the fight. Like every city council meeting, I feel like there's someone there speaking about it, and like the city council just takes the broom, dusts it away, and it sucks, which I understand that like they technically don't have any control over personnel things there. I understand that. But at the same time, the city council has the ability to withhold funding and grants. They have the ability. They vote on it every single time. So like if they wanted to put pressure on the museum, all they have to do is withhold the money or withhold the grants, and they could be like, this is what we want. The museum will almost certainly do that
Yeah.
because they need that money. Like they're a nonprofit. So like they need the money from the city, which yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have to be a nonprofit.
Right. Yeah, and I know Christine had gotten into a little bit of that too, and I'm sure it goes way deeper than what we can even kind of talk about and dissect here on the podcast. But I mean, it's just so, it's from an outsider's perspective, it's so goofy. It's like,
Yeah.
for something, so like it's not like anybody's life is in jeopardy, right? Like I feel like that's the only real time that there should be bans. Like you see in the sports world, like somebody streaks out onto the field, like, all right, maybe now the players, safeties are in jeopardy from some drunk idiot, and so maybe,
Right.
yeah, you ban him from the stadium because, he wasn't able to be out in public and handle himself appropriately or herself appropriately. And so, yeah, now you got to ban that person. But it's not like any of that happened in this situation. So it's like, I don't understand. We may never understand, right? So, but I mean, it is goofy. But I talked about how you set up that Project Limestone and you were talking a little bit about it as not just your typical video on Blood Moon. It was more of I don't want to say documentary but I mean, in a way, kind of a documentary. I mean, you had all the outros from everybody who has either worked there or worked with 13th Floor, and then the little third act that you were talking about there that kind of ruffled some feathers in a good way. But a lot of that has to do with your filmmaking skills. You are an alumni of the LA Film School. It looks like. So tell me a
That
little
is
bit about
correct.
your experiences there, and what has that given you with not only Blood Moon but just in general.
Yeah, so Project Limestone, I'm proud of it, but I'm not fully proud of it, if that makes sense. I wasn't finished with film school when we filmed it. Well, started filming it. So like I finished a month or two after we stopped. No, I'm trying to think. When did I graduate? I can't remember. Whatever. I wasn't finished with film school when I was making Project Limestone, so I'm not like not super thrilled with certain things that how it came out. But film school, like I never thought that I would go to film school. Like, in high school, they're always like, you need to select your career and select this and select that. I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I really liked history and I really liked like physics, like the two things that are ghost hunting combined. I'm like, those are the two things that I like. Um, and I was like, when I started at EI, he brought me on because he knew that I did like the film stuff. Like I made these paranormal videos. I was brought on to do some of the promo videos for Evil Intentions, and that's where my passion started to kind of evolve a lot more into just not just these YouTube videos or small mini documentaries, but it evolved into more fictional work too. Um, and in doing that, I saw myself growing, but I also saw myself kind of growing at a slower pace than I wanted to. So when I was doing these promo videos, I'm like, what if I just went to film school? So I started looking online for different options and I came across the Los Angeles Film School, which had online courses and it was flexible online courses. So that worked perfect for me because I was not going to be quitting my day job for this. I work in real estate and like I like this job a lot. It pays very well and it funds a lot of the ghost hunting that I do, helps fund that. So it's not going to be quitting my job. to do, schooling. So this flexible schedule for this online schooling was like perfect. And I applied, immediately got accepted, which was really cool. And I started working on that. And, you know, 6 months in, they send you the first package of your your supplies because they send you everything you need as part of tuition. And some cool stuff in there, nothing too crazy. And then a year in, they finally send you your camera stuff. And when I say that there was 50 packages at my front door, I mean there was 50 packages at my front door with camera stuff in it. I'm like, I like got home. I'm like, I can't. How am I supposed to get in? like, like there is so much stuff there. And I like couldn't believe it. I'm like, this was like probably a whole like UPS truck full of stuff. Insane. They taught us the different ropes with that stuff. I was in there for 3.5, 4 years or something like that. Graduated with a bachelor's in digital filmmaking. So, I try to stay humble about that. I don't flex it too much unless, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't try not to. I mean, I'm just a YouTuber. So, um,
Still,
yeah,
I mean,
hopefully,
the quality that Blood Moon has, you can definitely see the skills shining through. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of filmmaking even here in Chicago that friends of mine or colleagues of mine, even going to media school, there were people who wanted to do more so that stuff rather than sports media stuff like what I'm doing. And um, yeah, I haven't seen anything quite like Blood Moon and those kind of skills other than the big box office stuff. So it is impressive, and
thank
especially
you.
to be able to do it online rather than like spend an arm and a leg going to Colombia and maybe not get to touch a camera until year three, right? Like
Yeah,
it's a lot tougher once you're locked into something expensive and it's just dragging, right? Like that was one of the things they said to us at Illinois Media School first year or first day was you're touching Adobe Audition and Premiere on your first day, and some you know Columbia students don't get this until year three. So I'm sure
yeah.
you dabble a lot. What's the main stuff that you're using in order to make your films as far as programs go?
Yeah, I mean, so like going into film school, I already had some type of experience because like I'd been making YouTube videos since I was 10. They weren't always paranormal stuff. They were like stupid, like cheat code videos or Lego videos. Like there's stupid things like that. So like that's kind of how I started out. So going into it, I already had some sort of base of knowledge. Um, don't get me wrong, like this whole thing has been expensive. I'm still in debt, again in debt. Um, but a lot of what we use is the Premiere Pro. So we use Adobe products. When it comes to like screenwriting, which I loved screenlight writing. Like screenlight writing was so much fun. I want to do more of it, but the Blood Moon stuff doesn't really call for screenwriting because it's not scripted. It's literally just as we document it. Um, but if I could do more screenwriting, we use Final Draft for that. So that was a program we used for that. But yeah, a lot of Premiere Pro, a lot of Adobe Audition with the audio stuff. After Effects, we did some of that, and yeah, I mean that's the base of it. So yeah,
Yeah, we've used a little bit of that, or I guess a lot of that throughout media school, whether it's on the radio side of things or even TV side of things. I enjoyed the TV side of things. Um, some of that gets a little technical for me. So I'm typically I like to just be the guy that, researches the stats and goes out on in front of the camera and gets to, whether it's sports or just a regular newscast or whatever you're talking about. I'm more that guy. But the back end of stuff is interesting. And when I've made a couple different like, hype videos here or there for our hockey stuff, like that's the type of things that I've been keeping in mind. But like I said, nothing to the extent of Blood Moon. So that is awesome. And if it makes you feel any better, I originally went to school for engineering and switched to do broadcasting and communications and even business to an extent. So the debt, I feel you, because I went from something that would have paid the bills, but I wouldn't have been the happiest in. And again, back to the high school discussion, it's like, how are you supposed to? I did 4 years of engineering in high school and I loved it. Got to college, it was a whole different story. And it's like, Yeah, and honestly, not even the engineering side of things, because when we build voodoo, like I'm using a lot of those skills that I've learned throughout high school, and honestly, just certain stuff has been trial and error, or stuff I picked up from my grandfather on my dad's side was very handy on stuff. So things that he's taught me and stuff like that. So I'll use my engineering side of things, and I love that. Whether it's building an ice rink, which we didn't do this year, or even stuff that we got to build for big hockey games and stuff like that, but mostly voodoo. So it's like, back in high school, it's like, of course, like that was what Mike wanted to go into, and how you decide the whole rest of your life. And then you get there and you go, yeah, but I'd rather just use my big Italian mouth to talk, right? So like, let me jump on this voodoo podcast and
Yeah.
start doing sports broadcasting. So yeah, it's tough, but I'm so glad you found not only what you enjoy, but what you're good at, and that shines through. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate that.
I'm excited to see what you guys got coming in the pipeline. And who was I talking to? That somebody, it was, I don't know if it was Tyler Booth of Disturbia, or if it was Eric Munson, also guest acts at Disturbia. And I think both of them go and I know Tyler goes and checks out like abandoned houses. I don't think it's as much ghost hunting or paranormal activity like what you do, paranormal investigations. But Eric was talking about that he dabbles in that stuff, and that they were like, "You're skeptical. I'm skeptic as well." And they're like, "We got to take you out so that you get a real experience." And I was like, I don't know about that. And if I'm gonna call anybody, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Zach, where should I go?" So I might have to hit you up to see what the where I should camp the night and see if I survive, right?
For sure, man. For sure.
um, I want to jump into we're talking a little bit about personalities here. Our Voodoo Personalities segment, sponsored by our home haunt, which is no more. Voodoo on Vassar had its final year here in 2025. Good thing though. Happy that smile that it happened. Don't be sad that it's over, right? But yeah, so this is where we kind of dive into some of your personality stuff outside of the haunt world. But for you, it's outside of the haunt world and even um, paranormal investigations. What would we find you doing if you weren't doing any of that? I know that probably consumes enough of your time, film school as well. But what's some things that you're passionate about, hobby wise, that you get a chance to take a deep breath and go enjoy?
Um, that's tough because like I do spend a lot of my time like working. Like I have my day job. I work for a title company. Um, Whenever we're ready to start building at the prison, I'm sometimes doing that. When I'm not doing that, I'm editing videos. Um, that's a lot of my time. I do enjoy playing video games whenever I can find time to. Recently, what I've been doing is it's called the Pomodoro method. You ever hear of that?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not super familiar.
So what that is 25 minutes of work, 5 minute break, 25 minutes of work, 5 minute break, 25 minutes of work, 25-minute break, and then you repeat that.
Oh,
So what I've been doing is like I'll edit and then like take a 5 minute break to like play a video game or something like that, and then go back to editing 5 minute. So like that's what I've been doing. Um, so I guess you could say that's kind of my free time in a sense. Video games, I love watching movies and like different shows and stuff like that. I'm a huge DC fan,
okay,
like DC like comics. So
yeah.
like I've been, you know, watching a lot of that. Whenever the new stuff comes out. Supergirl trailer today was cool.
I
So
haven't seen
that
it
released today. That was pretty cool. Lobo, big fan. I don't know if you're familiar with comic book stuff, but
to an extent. Yeah, I'm more on
yeah.
the Marvel side of things, but
Okay.
my favorite hero of all time is Batman. So that's
Yes.
DC.
Yep.
So I wish they could do something a little bit more streamlined with that. Of course, the Dark Knight trilogy was phenomenal, some of the
Yeah.
best cinema ever.
Did you
Uh,
like Robert Pattinson?
I did. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
after you've done a million Batmans and even Batfleck and the Snyderverse and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's like can we get all this on the same page here for a little bit? And I think that's what's coming. I really enjoyed. I'm sure you said you're catching up on a lot of DC. Peacemaker was the most recent one, season two
Yes.
came
So
out.
good.
That
So
was that
good.
was really good. Both seasons, but season two most recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you a big Stranger Things guy like the rest of this haunt world?
Yeah, not I've been more into which they're both out right now. Like I've been more watching Derry. Welcome to Derry.
Oh, yes, that one's good too. I've been
I've
watching.
I enjoyed this volume one of Stranger Things, like season five, volume one, but like Derry for some reason I'm enjoying more.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because the full season of Stranger Things isn't out yet, but like I don't know. Like I'm kind of liking Welcome to Derry a little better. So
I
yeah,
agree, especially after everybody said chapter two flopped. I
yeah,
actually just went back and watched it for the first time, and I didn't think it was the biggest flop. I felt like, of course, with the way that the story is written by Stephen King, that that time jump really it limited them with things that they could do. I thought the acting was fine. I think the casting still was great. But yeah, it was like, okay, chapter one and chapter two, and then Clown's dead all over. Not that I don't think I'm giving any spoilers. It's been out for a long time. And now this Welcome to Derry is a prequel, and it sounds like each different season is going to be a different time that Pennywise comes to terrorize. Because what is it, every is it 30
27, I think, 27 years.
27 years? Yeah. So this is going to be such a cool jump to each of the I guess what should have been the chapters, right? Instead of actually the first movie in chapter two. So
Yeah, which from my understanding, like they're basing this off of like the prologue for the book.
okay,
So like they're talking about the different events that happen. So like this one in this first season is about the black spot
right.
event, and then like it'll go back to like the something massacre, and then go back to some other event that happened, which I'm really excited for. Like that sounds awesome. This season, like I enjoyed it chapter two. I thought it chapter one was really good. I thought it chapter two was less good, but still,
Right.
good.
Yeah.
This Welcome to Derry, in my opinion, is better than chapter one.
Yeah.
But that's that's just me. We'll see. There's one episode left at this point. There's one episode left, so we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually an episode behind, but I've already seen like a spoiler of like what happened in this most recent episode. And I'm like, I can't
It's
believe I
such a good episode. The best
yeah.
episode. It is the best.
Knowing the spoiler that I know, I'm like, damn, I can't believe I spoiled it before I watched it, but I'm still gonna go and watch it. But yeah, as far as Stranger Things, the when Volume Two comes out, I'm already looking at the run times of the episodes, and I'm like, these are all movies, so I'm
Yeah.
prepared to lose a lot of sleep here. Like, so that's incredible. But yeah, no, as Derry goes on, I'm interested to see where that goes, and it's such a unique. I mean, everything Stephen King, I've enjoyed. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why he's Stephen King, right? But
It's a
uh,
weird guy, but he writes some good stuff.
that's true. That's true. So excited for that, and then also excited to see what comes of DC as well. It's going to be a big. I
Oh
was just
yeah.
watching a video earlier today. It's going to be a big 2026 for like just movies in general,
Oh
mostly
yeah.
the superhero genre and the action genre, but just everything in general. We're going to get another Evil Dead movie. We're going to get all the Avengers stuff, which I hope pulls back together because it's been kind of it's got its times here and there. It's not back when it was, the Infinity Saga, but
Right.
DC might be coming for them, especially with Superman was good, and I think that'll carry over into Supergirl, and
Yeah.
then the more you
Fingers
throw
crossed,
John
man.
Cena's Peacemaker in there,
Yeah.
the better it's gonna be.
Fingers crossed. I've been a DC fan my whole life, more specifically Batman. Like my whole
Yes.
life, I've been a DC fan. And like the amount of time I've been waiting for like a solid cinematic universe, like I liked Snyder stuff. I was a
Yeah.
fan, but like when leadership started like changing his stuff, it was obvious that it was going downhill and it wasn't going to work out. I just want a good, solid, connected universe with good stories,
Yeah.
and that looks like what it's going to, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just love that brand so much. I don't know, the characters in them, the villains especially. The villains are just so good. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, when it was the Dark Knight trilogy, that was what it was at its peak. And I agree. I liked the Snyder stuff, especially once you saw the Snyder cut of things and you could understand that there was more world building that got cut short in that.
Yep.
Because otherwise it felt like the regular Justice League that got released, it was like, you're just kind of rushing to catch up with Marvel's Avengers here, and
Right.
it doesn't feel like, it should. And then, killing off Superman, bringing him back right away. It's like we could have spent a couple movies without him, and that could have been more of a threat that he's gone. But I saw the idea where it was going, and I enjoyed it. Unlike I guess some people like absolutely hated it, and it's like I don't think you could hate it, but
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, let's hope that we get something more streamlined here in the future for that kind of stuff too.
Absolutely.
I've taken up a lot of your time here. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Of
We've gone
course.
on so many tangents. We could be here for hours, I'm sure. But
Probably good.
um, I want to just kind of close out with let anybody know what you guys got coming up, whether that's Blood Moon or even 13th Floor, whether that's with the prison or I know the Christmas haunt up here at 13th Floor Chicago is coming up, but also where can everybody find you on all the socials?
When is this dropping?
Hopefully in the next week or so. We're recording here on what's today's date? December 11th. Yeah,
Okay.
probably. Yeah, within 7 days. I would hope so.
Okay. So 13th Floor Entertainment Group, 13th Floor Chicago will be doing their Love Bites event. That'll be the next event after this drops.
Right, right.
I'm not sure the dates of that yet, but that's the next 13th Floor Chicago event. And then we usually at the prison do the halfway to Halloween event in May or June, just depending on when the schedule works out for that. Um, in terms of Blood Moon, you could find us anywhere, any platform, except for X. I'm getting rid of X because, yeah. Um, Blood Moon Paranormal. That's just type it in. We'll be there. You'll find us. We have episodes. I'm trying to drop one every month or every 2 or 3 weeks. Just got to catch up. Like I said, I'm 15 backlogged. So there's a lot of content that's going to be coming out. It's not stopping anytime soon. The next 4 episodes is the Missouri State Penitentiary, which will be dropping on December 19th. The Madison Seminary, which I'm editing right now, and we got some weird stuff there. And then Whispers Estates, which is a demon house in Indiana, and then a classified investigation, which I cannot tell you about. Um, After that, if you're into haunted houses because you're listening to this podcast, the episode after that will be the Laurel's House of Horror. And that episode, man, that something there. It's dark there. It's evil. Something's evil there. It's weird, man. It's weird. So, Blood Moon Paranormal, look us up anywhere. We'll be there.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we'll have to get you back on to dive deeper into some of this stuff, and go maybe even further into like the demon versus ghost kind of conversation. And hopefully by then, you still haven't been, assaulted by anything, right? So
Yeah, right. 13 years, all of a sudden I get assaulted.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as you mentioned, yeah, I think this will be out after some of the Christmas haunts. It's mid-December here. Hopefully everybody has a good Christmas coming up. This should drop before Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Yeah, X sucks even for sport. Like I should use it more for sports side of things, but even then, it's like I get my notifications on there from the insiders that I need, and that's about it. And it's like having a second
It's
ESPN to get me.
pretty awful. I'm
Yeah,
not a fan.
yeah. So I'm more of an Instagram guy myself. So I've got you on everything, and as soon as this comes out, we'll be pushing that, and we're looking forward to all the Blood Moon stuff. So
Thank you so much.
that'll be great. Zak Wenzel, thank you so much again for jumping on, and we will talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Right back in here on the Voodoo Podcast, and I am joined by yet another inmate from the Old Joliet Haunted Prison. You will find this energetic and talented soul roaming the grounds of the prison during the season, but also venturing to 13th Floor Chicago during the off-season events, and even to Indianapolis to join the drum corps. Please welcome to the Voodoo Podcast, Megatron, A.K.A. Megan McIntyre.
Hey y'all.
How
Hey.
are you? I see you have a friend already starting off
Yes,
with you.
like that bug.
Bug, all right. What
Yeah,
kind
she's
of cat is that?
I don't know. It's a crazy orange one.
I don't know my cat breeds. I'm more of a dog person, but friends of mine just got like a 3-week-old cat, and it is so itty bitty and tiny.
Mhm.
But you know, you gotta have a little companion. Maybe I need to get a cat now, right? Like,
I love cats. So I've had them like my whole life. But yeah, I've had kittens too. I mean, she came from my mom's house. So I've had her since she was like born.
oh wow, okay, all right. So she was probably a little fur ball as well at the start. Look at her, she's so curious. Well, you just wrapped up Krampus at 13th floor Chicago. How was that experience for you?
Krampus was the best. Honestly, I had such a great off-season event there. I I was like driving home one night and I was like, I just realized I haven't worked there in 10 months. Like I haven't been at 13th since Love Bite. So it was really, really lovely just to be back with my 13th homies and just like acting in one of their scenes. I love their scenes. I was in one of their new scenes, so that was really fun. It was like a tool shed scene and there was just a bunch of like human body parts and skin and everything. So yeah, it was wonderful. And then I
think
worked a
we
pub too, which was always such a fun time.
Oh, that's awesome. I think we did get a chance to see the rooms that you're talking about. Obviously, that last night of the regular season for 13th floor, and then we got a chance to see Old Joliet on the final snowing night of the season. Unfortunately, you were down for the count for that one. Have you recovered? Of course, no concussion. You're doing better now.
Yeah, 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 I'm chilling. I mean, sometimes I get headaches, but I think it's just also maybe because like the weather's changing. So yeah, other than that, like I'm pretty recovered. I'm good. So
That's good. Yeah, no more injuries is always a good thing. And yeah, the weather change. I mean, it was cold that last night, and then it warmed up during the rest of November, and then we got hit with snow and cold weather here in Chicago. We're still kind of getting hit with it. So lovely Chicago weather. But you mentioned, yeah, you haven't been over to 13th since the Love Bites event. 13th Floor Entertainment Group is nice enough to have both locations, the prison and 13th Floor Chicago, for the flip flop of some of the off season events. You'll get Love Bites and Krampus at 13th Floor, but then you'll also get the halfway to Halloween at Old Joliet. And normally we would find you scaring at the prison. How did this year go for you? How many years now has it been that you've been with 13th floor and more specifically the prison?
this is my fifth year. I just finished up on my fifth season. Um, honestly, a pretty good season, minus obviously walking into a wall and getting a concussion. That's like it's crazy to me that I did that. Um, but other than that, like I just really enjoyed being back in the prison walls and helping out with our outside show and seeing how our second attraction got changed into more of a storyline based attraction rather than the zombie laser tag. So that was really fun. Just overall good time. I always love being at the prison and being a helping hand to all the actors and just everyone involved there. I even got to learn some new stuff this season, like just a little bit of tech stuff of like what's the process of turning on the show and turning off the show. And then on top of that, I also learned some event staff positions. So it was really nice to kind of get that perspective of like what department, like how does it run for each department, like a night for them, especially being an event staff. So it was fun. I learned how to run all our escape rooms and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many moving pieces to running even the simplest of shows. And then you tack on the fact that you guys have now 4 different attractions plus the escape rooms. Plus, people don't even think about, the merchandise and the concessions and security and all that. So I mean, yeah, there's everybody has to play another role, which is incredible. And you have a great cast of characters at the prison. We're going to get into them in just a second. But was this the start of your haunting career 5 years ago, or were you somewhere else to start? And how did you really know that you wanted to get into this kind of stuff?
So I've always worked at the Old Joliet Haunted Prison. That and 13th floor Chicago are the only haunts that I've worked. Like 5 years ago, I was my first semester of college, I was going for theater, and I still am. Like, I'm still a theater major. But the college that I was going to, the community college, they had like a theater group chat on like Facebook, or like a Facebook group for the theater department, and someone had posted that the Old Joliet Haunted Prison was hiring actors for like, I think at that time like it was like $13 an hour or something. And I was like, hell yeah, like I'm going into theater, like this is a paid acting gig, like this is a good foot like step in the door for that kind of like industry. So I I filled out an application and everything, and I remember I was like at my job I was working, which was a nursing home, and this was like during COVID that I applied. And I like went up to a couple of my coworkers at the nursing home, and I was like, I just applied to a haunted house, and they were like, "You're gonna work two jobs?" I'm like, "Yeah, what the heck? Let's try this haunted house thing out. It'll be interesting." Um, and I showed up to the prison, and the prison has the front part, and then there's the back part by like the water tower, and I was like, where am I even going right now? Like, I don't know where I need to be. And I finally figure out where I need to be, and I show up, and the performance manager at the time was like, "Oh, two other people were supposed to be here, but they didn't show up, so it's just us." And I was like, "Okay, I'm at this abandoned prison. I've never been to a haunted house before, and no one else is here except me and this performance manager." And so, yes, and then the rest is history. I've just been working there since, and I love it. And I've been working at 13th when I get the chance as well.
So you had never been even through a haunted house before signing up for something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I would think I like went to like a haunted house at like one of the corn mazes like in the area when I was like real little. And my high school did like a haunted corn maze. But like those were it. I'd never been through like an official like pro haunt or anything like that.
Wow, jumping in the deep end right away. But I think a lot of people don't realize that is one of those industries, acting and theater, that there's a lot of that in the haunt industry, and it's a great stepping stone, and sometimes even a full-time career for people who are looking to get, like you said, that first paid gig. For myself, for broadcasting, you're gonna do a lot of free internshiping before you even really get like a paid gig beforehand, and sometimes it's quite the grind. So to have that kind of an ad for you right off the bat, and be able to capitalize on it, even if it is a side job or a part-time job, is something huge. And trust me, many a times, even myself guest acting, you got the day job, and you're talking to the boss like, hey, can I get out at 4 today rather than 5, because I need to be at whichever, for you it's Old Joliet, but I need to be here by such and such time to get into character and stuff like that. So yeah, you're burning both ends of the candle, basically working a day job and an evening job. And I gotta imagine it is tiresome by the end of the day. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Like, I remember I would work at the nursing home and like literally be changing at the end of my shift into like my all blacks and like going to the prison. And I would like post on my Snapchat and be like, nursing home by day, haunted house by night. I thought it was so silly that I like did that.
The duality of a superhero. Hopefully you weren't scaring any of the old folks, because they're like, oh no, what is she doing? Oh my goodness. I want to jump into the voodoo personalities segment, because there is a great group there at the prison with a lot of amazing leadership that we kind of alluded to, whether that is Zach and Emily, or Angie, Tyler, Adam, Christine, Katie, Kevin. I mean, the list can go on. I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but there's also a lot of youth amongst the Old Joliet Haunted Prison family. Where do you feel that you fit in, and what is sort of your role in the mix of everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I I, I am an attraction lead there, so I kind of am like part of like the, I mean, I am part of the actors, but I'm also kind of like help with, it's kind of like a mini manager, not necessarily, but kind of. But so as an attraction lead, I help out with making sure all of our actors are good during the night, just like our runners do. But then on top of that, like if there's any issues that are happening in the house, like I can make sure that like I'm taking care of it and like checking out like, okay, what's going on. I'm gonna keep an eye on this customer and make sure all my actors are okay and give descriptions to whoever needs to have that description. I hope the actors at the beginning of our shift, we will, like, before we go in, we'll like do a group stretch. So I help lead them through that, and then I hype them up before we go in, which is really fun. And then I just do the usual, like, checking in actors and checking them out and helping like place actors and make sure our spaces are maintained and clean, like the attraction is clean and that the actor area is clean and that we have fuel for our chainsaws and stuff. And I also work alongside another attraction lead, Bingo. So
Gotcha. Yeah, when I got a guest act with you guys in 2024, I learned a lot from how you guys operate, especially like you said at the start of the night with a stretching circle and stuff. And it's something that, like, as you would think, even as somebody going around and being a slider, you would think like, and I'm getting older, like, stretch so you don't hurt yourself and don't be an idiot. But that really kind of opened my eyes, and I kind of pushed that on to even our voodoo squad this year. We didn't exactly, we were scrambling for most of the nights. I mean, we were set up in time by 7 o'clock, but most of the nights we were not able to get like an actual. You see, like, Hell's Gate or Disturbia or these other places have like a pit or just like a main meeting, and even you guys as well. But nobody else really does that stretching circle that I think 13th Floor and Old Joliet do, and I think that's such a unique but important piece to get set up for the night. And even if it wasn't the entire voodoo squad doing it, I was making sure I did it because I was like, you know what, I need to take 5 minutes to make sure that these old legs don't cramp up on me throughout the night, or mess up a kneecap or something like that. So
wake
yeah.
up sore the next day, like.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, that would not be fun. That was my gym routine for the week, and I attribute it all to you guys at OJHP, because otherwise I wouldn't have been smart enough or responsible enough to take the time to actually, stretch out and do the right thing.
Yeah, I think stretching before going in to a haunted house and doing all this crazy physical activity and moving your body in the weirdest, funkiest ways, like stretching is just so important to, yeah, prevent injuries.
No doubt. Now, your nickname is Megatron, but I hear that you hadn't even seen the Transformers movies and didn't realize that Megatron was the villain. Is that true?
That's so true. I found that out like a year after, like a year and a half after having my nickname. I was sitting in like I don't know what class. I was sitting in like a gen eds class, and someone was like, "Oh, Megatron, like the Transformer," and I was like, Megatron's a transformer? Like, what you talking about? And they're like, yeah, that's a transformer, man. I was like, I never knew that. Yeah, I still
Well,
haven't seen any like Transformer movies.
still no? Oh no. Well, it's Michael Bay, so everything explodes. There's always a different explosion or a battle or something like that. A lot of CGI. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I mean, then it's for you. But other than that, yeah, it's after a while. I think after you've seen, like, I liked the first three. After that, it was like, all right, we're recycling the same thing over and over again. But I mean, hey, the character itself has dated back to when, like, I guess the cartoons or even just the toys were out. So, I mean, you've got a staple there. If you can't be, I mean, Optimus Prime is a little bit of a stretch, right? But when your name is Megan, you could be Megatron, right? So
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
there you
I
go.
I kind of want to get a like Megatron tattoo, even though I haven't seen the movie. And just be like, yeah, that's my tattoo. And people are gonna be like, wow, you love Transformers? I'm just be like, nah, I'm Megatron.
There you go. You can. Yeah, absolutely. Even though you haven't seen the movies, you have a right to, since it's literally your nickname. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. Now you just need, even though you're Megatron, you're on the bad side, you're on the Decepticons. Now you need a Bumblebee. And well, you have Wasp at the
Yeah,
prison. So, yeah.
I'll be sidekick.
Oh my goodness. Well, you are not a villain typically. You are a very energetic person, like I said, always fun and bubbly to talk to and stuff like that. I'm sure you take that into your regular everyday life. We're gonna get into drum corps and stuff a little bit later, but what are you typically doing in your free time just to have fun? Are there any, Any kind of music, movies, that kind of stuff that you like that fit your personality?
In my free time, I really enjoy going to concerts. Like, if I can find a good concert, I love small venues or medium-sized venues. Like, is my favorite to go to. I've recently seen a lot of ska concerts, specifically a band called Something to Do. They're great. They're from Milwaukee. I see them in a couple of weeks. I also just saw 21 Pilots in September. That was like 10 out of 10. Wonderful concert, wonderful experience. That was the biggest concert I've been to since seeing like Panic at the Disco in like 2019 or something. Um, on top of seeing a lot of concerts, I also like seeing like live theater, obviously. Um, I I'm going to go see a show called Amadeus actually on Wednesday, and it's about Mozart. So I'm pretty excited for that one. On top of all of that as well, like live theater, I love a good musical. I
You have
also
a
really
favorite
like
musical?
do I have a favorite musical? Yes, Little Shop of Horrors is without a doubt my favorite musical.
Okay, all right. Everybody that is into musicals, I feel, has a an all-time favorite musical. That's a good one too, because it kind of crosses over into the haunt world too.
Yes, I love a good, I love the concept of the man-eating plant, but like I love that musical because it is supposed to be kind of like spooky horror, but it's just so funny. It's just so silly.
No doubt. Yeah. Like I said, we'll get into drum core, but not only are you the energetic and positive energy, like I said, that OJHP family needs, but I hear you also like to find treasures at the end of each night after sweeping up the prison and the grounds. What are some of these treasures that you're finding?
Um, Honestly, I find the stuff that people drop at the end of the night. So, like one night I found these like cat ears, and those were really cutesies. We have like a bin that we put all our trinkets in. Usually I love when I find like the big hoop earrings. Those ones are silly. Sometimes I like to put them on like the mannequins in the scenes.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes you just find like glasses or hats or just uh acrylic nails, a lot of acrylic nails. We have a jar specifically dedicated to all the nails we find and we put them in there. We have like one or two of them. Uh I love finding the photo cards and then I'll scan the photo cards and see like what the photo was. Like I take them.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I remember that group when they went through. No wonder they
Yup.
dropped their card. They were scared.
I was like, oh, is that group? Okay, cool. Oh, yes, I remember these people.
The hoop earrings is still getting me. That's hilarious because like something went down if the hoop earrings are on the ground, right? Yeah. And so, oh my gosh, you're like a walking lost and found then too. If you're wearing the cat ears and taking some of those for your own enjoyment, right?
They're just so silly. I also love when we find like weaves or like strands of hair. I'm like, you got real scared and part of the set ripped your hair out. Like, girl, that
Yeah,
does
it's
not
cool
look
because there's more of a story to it then, like you're finding an item, but you're like, how did this you're looking around, you're like, how did this acrylic nail fall off or how did this weave fall off? And you're like, okay, I'm starting to connect the dots here.
Yeah, how do these things like fall out of your pocket or off of you? Like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh, that's too cool. Yeah, I don't think the night that I was there with you guys, I don't think there was anything because I had that hallway in lower block E. I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
lower
yeah.
block E. And I don't think there was anything there. Otherwise, I would have slid and found it real quick. But yeah, no, luckily nobody lost anything. So I didn't get to keep any hoop earrings. That's why I only got the AirPods in.
So some nights when I go through and sweep, there aren't a lot of treasures, but so it's hit or miss if there's treasures to find. Sometimes it's just trash and stuff. And you're like, okay.
That's not as fun. But yeah, I mean, that's got to be still interesting to find everything left over. we just spoke to Zach, and speaking of at the end of the night and finding things in the prison, he's had some paranormal experiences at the prison himself and Blood Moon Paranormal. Have you had anything eerie happen to you during your time there?
Um, well, hold on. You just spoke to Zach. You interviewed him?
We did. He's going to be your episode buddy.
I love that guy. Zach's a number one day one homie. Love that guy for real.
He's
Um,
awesome.
during my first season, I remember I was in one of the cells up there, upstairs, and I was just like, yeah, I was acting in the cell. I got put in there for the night, and standing at the doorway, and I was like, I just don't feel like I'm alone in here. I was like, that's kind of weird, and I was like, but but I am alone. And I like kept looking behind my shoulder, and I was like, yeah, like I'm alone. No one's in here, and I just kept having that feeling. And then I was like, this is really weird. And I sat down in the corner of the cell, and I just still kind of had that feeling of like, I just feel like there's more in here than me. That was like the only experience I've had in the prison. So
Do you know which cell block it was? Because I know there's one, right, that everybody says is supposedly like there's something going on with it. Is that one?
I think it was either that one or like one right next to it, or like a couple doors down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kept that in mind. In fact, before I guest acted with you guys, I didn't know where I was going to be placed, so I made sure to do my research. And at the time, I knew which it's like 2H or something like or 20 something. I forget the actual name or the number.
Oh, three? Or that's where you were acting, or the cell that
No, the cell that everybody says is supposedly haunted or something like that. I didn't get placed over there, but I was kind of like doing my homework ahead of time. Like if I get placed over here, let's see if I find something. But no, not the case for me. I was in a different section. But even yeah, stepping into any one of those cells, I think there was one at the end of the hallway where I was at that I was part of me was like, I don't feel like going too far into this, like not only do you not want to get locked in, like they tell all the customers don't go in the cells because if they lock, we can't get you out, right? And so not only did I not want that to happen, but also like I was like, this feels a little eerie. So, but I didn't feel like what you felt like an actual presence being there. So
yeah.
that's a step up there. I haven't experienced something like that.
It was definitely just yeah, like eerie vibes, but I was just like, whatever, I'll go on with the night. And it'll be all fine.
And after being there for 5 years, to have just that, I think speaks to the fact that it is much harder for some, at least for some people. I think Christine will tell you that she feels stuff a lot when she's
Mm,
walking through, and I know Zach's had some experiences and whatnot, but I think you have to really be actively seeking it out for you to feel it. But for the customers coming through, they may not realize that, and they'll still probably get that feeling. I mean, there is an aura that the building holds in and of itself that you're like, okay, this is not only history, but like this building breathes in and of itself.
mm-hmm.
So Adam is another crucial part, being the warden, and of course, he won the race against Sparky this year and kept his title. But Adam also steps away to run his home haunt. So, what's that like having the duality from Adam, not only as an older brother like figure, but also somebody so passionate that he's connected to both the home haunter world and the pro haunting world?
Adam's just an excellent guy. I mean, he's been there as long as I have, so I just like the connection we have. I love that so much. And I always love going out and seeing like what he did for his home haunt. Like I was so proud of the home haunt he pulled together like this season that just happened. And that was just incredible. Um but it'll be exciting because I think now he's gonna be moving full time to the prison like next season. So that'll be fun to have him around every single day, and he just kills it out there. And it's just so inspiring to see him. He works his day job and then comes to the prison and kills it out in the line, and then he goes home and he works on his home haunt and everything. So
I
I
genuinely don't know when that man sleeps.
right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hopefully
he's
in the winter
dedicated.
then.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I know that last year they did the Creepy Christmas. It was Adam and the Nightmare Haunted House over in Manuka, Michael Peters and co. They did Silent Night, which was fun. Getting to do that, but I think Adam has earned a little bit of a break at this point. But he's still, I mean, he's still out there killing it, and I know he'll be doing the same thing in 2026. Other than, of course, like the home haunt will be taking a step back. I think he said he's only going to decorate a little bit and not have the full walkthrough, and then, like you said, full time at the prison. But I mean, that man is still dedicated in everything that he does. So it's got to be a pleasure to have him around for sure.
Yeah,
So
he's extremely passionate about what he does.
yeah, he's a good dude. Switching gears outside of the haunt world, I mentioned that you venture across state lines quite often. You're down in Indianapolis for drum corps. Tell me a little bit about how you got into that and what the travel and that whole experience kind of entails.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I got into, for context, drum corps is basically like professional marching band. It's it's about 35 to 40 corps are competing against each other to compete to win first place. Basically, it's score based. They just win this trophy and bragging rights basically. But um I got into drum corps like probably when I was like a freshman in high school. I was really always interested in marching band and like performing on the field, like performing my instrument in a capacity where audience are gonna like go crazy for it. Um, and so I always wanted to be a part of a marching band, but my high school did not have it. And then one day I was on YouTube and a clip from a drum corps show popped up, and I watched it and I was like, this is a pretty cool thing. And I kind of went down that rabbit hole. And during COVID, I was like working and auditioning and practicing for an open class corps based out of Oregon, Wisconsin. And then because of COVID, obviously the season didn't happen. Next season rolled around and I joined a group from Dubuque, Iowa, Colt Cadets. Again, open class. Open class is there's like two like levels. There's open class and there's world class. World class, honestly, they're a little bit more like they rehearse longer, so they're on the road and on tour and practicing for 3 months. Whereas open class, some are close to 3 months, but most are 2 months. And then like for the corps that I've marched, we just kind of stay in the Midwest area. Whereas world class will do like every world class group will like do a world tour, not a world tour, sorry, a cross country tours typically. So we'll go like to the Midwest, down to the South, up to the East, and then into Indiana. Um, but then in 2022, I auditioned for the group that I now call my home, River City Rhythm. They're based out of Anoka, Minnesota. I marched 3 seasons with them, 22, 24, and 25 on baritone.
Wow, yeah. So you are quite literally all over the place.
Yes. I mean, we like I said, we just stay in the Midwest. But you go all over, like you pack up a suitcase and like a backpack, and that's basically all you're traveling with. They want you to just have a backpack and a suitcase and like maybe something to hold your sleeping stuff in, but they kind of want you to pack that in your suitcase. And you pack that to be traveling for 2 months. You don't go home for 2 months. You're living with these people. So I packed up all my stuff. Actually, this past season, I worked halfway to Halloween on that Saturday and was partying and stuff at the haunt till like 2 a.m. Went home and tried to take off as much makeup as I could before I went to sleep, and woke up the next day at like 7 a.m. to go up to Minnesota to go live with my corps for 2 months and do this thing. So that was crazy. Then I was, yeah, living in Minnesota for about 2, 3 months while we learned the show and memorized the music, memorized the show, just get stronger physically and mentally. Um, and then we hit the road and we start tour, which is when we start competing against groups. So we had shows in Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana, and
Wow,
Minnesota.
that is incredible. That's quite literally the whole Midwest there, so that's impressive. And I didn't realize it was more so in Minnesota because I know that you posted about being down at Lucas Oil and being I would imagine that's like you were talking about the like the finals and the championships when you're competing down there in Indy.
But yeah, so like cores are from all over the United States. So um it's just like based on where your core will be is where you'll do your spring training. So like my core is from Minnesota, so I do all my training in Minnesota. But other cores like some actually don't even do their training from where they're like based out of. But it happens all over the country. And I'm only even in Indiana for the last week of the season. I spent all my other time either in Minnesota or the other states that we're performing in.
Gotcha. How I mean, I know you're always typically in like a drum corps attire and you're carrying instruments and stuff like that. I imagine summers even up in Minnesota get pretty hot. So how are you surviving through all of that? I guess this will kind of take us into our Frankenfuel sponsored Zombie Zap segment. So how are you staying hydrated and fueled for hot summers, and even also into frigid cold haunt seasons throughout the year?
So actually the in drum corps it's like standard for just across the whole like activity for members to have a 1 gallon sized Coleman jug. So you that's how I'm staying hydrated is my jug. Drink as much water as I can, like all the time. They give us water breaks every like 15 to 30 minutes. They really monitor it too. Like if we have a really hot day, they'll be like, let's get water every like 10 minutes and we'll have 5 minutes off so we can like refuel our body and hydrate ourselves. And then one of our seasons, we actually had to put electrolytes in our jug every day. So that kept us pretty hydrated. Um, and even I do that even during haunt season. Like this weekend, every day I was working at the haunt, I was just drinking electrolytes. It's just so good for staying hydrated.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can never have too many, I guess, when you're doing something that physical. Like I know for haunting, it's important. There's even that movement. Like I don't know who it was that came through at Disturbia. I think it was some people from Massacre, but it was Haunters Hydration, and they're actively making sure everybody stays hydrated, or at least a reminder to stay hydrated throughout that, because you don't realize how much it's taken out of you by the end of that. You're having
Right.
so much fun and stuff, and I imagine it can be the same with drum corps, but also when you're practicing, it can probably get pretty grueling too. So yeah, electrolytes are huge. So that's
Yeah,
gotta be it.
always, man. Especially at the beginning of haunt season when it's like those really hot September days. Those ones are like the most important. It's like you don't need anybody passing out because they're too hot or dehydrated or anything like that.
That stretched even into a little bit of October this year because I remember we were still building Voodoo, and we only opened the last this year. It was 16 days in a row, so it was quite literally the final 15 days of October and then one day into November. And all throughout the time that we were building, I was doing it in shorts and a tank top because if I had anything more on, I was sweating through it. So I mean, it was still upwards of 85, 90 degrees even into some of those October days. And then even I think the first couple of nights we started acting, it was very warm. Not as warm as that, but I was kind of just praying like for the 40 to 50-degree weather because I was like I wanted to drop down so that we're not sweating through our costumes here.
Right.
You get that nice little mid-range, maybe upwards of like maybe 60 degrees, but even then it's like here in Illinois we'd almost rather have that crisp autumn air for haunt acting. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. 'Cause it's just too much when it's so hot and yeah, you have all the layers on and stuff.
just not snow. That's a little
Yeah.
too much. Maybe for the Christmas haunts, that's a nice touch, but not for the very end of the season, right? So,
No, not at all.
do you ever mix your musical talent into the haunt world at all? I know that you have a a couple different characters that you've played throughout your time at Old Joliet and 13th Floor, but do you ever get a chance to kind of like throw in your other talents?
Actually, yeah, I have. At Krampus in 2022, Danny like gave this like little horn thing to someone. And I was like, "What? I want a horn! Like that'd be fun." And the next night, she gave me one. And I was like, "This is so dope!" And I was like, "I'm coming back next year with my trumpet." So I came back in 23 and played my trumpet in the haunt for Krampus. And mind you, I don't really play trumpet. I'm terrible at it, which I think kind of enhanced it because I'm just this like little angel jumping around the haunt playing terrible Christmas sounding music on my trumpet.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh.
It was awesome. And I mean, I still kind of scared people sometimes with it, even though I was just playing music. So I did that in 23, and then in 24 I did that again. And my co-lead Bingo and I were actually in the same scene, and he was the little drummer boy and I was playing my trumpet. So we're kind of like a duet band that season.
I think I do remember that from my one night there, but of course I was in a different spot from you guys, so I didn't get to see it in action. But even in that 13th floor break room, I vaguely remember you guys playing trumpet or playing instruments just in general. I think I remember Bingo on the drums as well too. I mean, that's perfect for having a little drummer boy, and yeah, like you said, having the off key notes is basically
Yeah.
haunt world, you know.
I was so bad at trumpet. I do not play it at all. So outside of my trumpet, last season I had the spoons that I'd play sometimes in the cells. But again, an instrument that I'm not skilled at, so it just sounded like I didn't know what I was doing because of course I didn't know what I was doing.
Were you playing them? I mean, I'm trying to think of how, like on the bars or on the walls or on the doors of the cells.
Like I was actually like playing the spoons, so like spoons are like an instrument. You can take
Right.
two spoons and put them together on the back. And if you hold them in your fingers, you can like clack them on your palm and they'll play.
Gotcha.
So I was mainly doing it on my palm or like my legs and stuff, not really too much on the walls. But yeah, I would do it like I would sit in a cell and like play and stuff. Or sometimes I'd do it out in like the graveyard.
It's a nice touch though, to add it to any character, but you know, specifically not only your actual Megan talents, but also to bring it to whatever character that you're doing. Do you have any like backstories to any of the characters that you're typically playing? And I know you've done a couple. You even had you've got that mask that you were running around in at MHC too. But I is that one borrowed? Because I think I've seen somebody else in that. Was it Katie that was wearing that originally?
I think yeah, that's just our Mrs. Nice Guy character that like 13th and the prison has. Other people have played it. Katie's played it. Emily's played it. String Cheese has played that character. Our friend Grace has played that character. A couple other inmates have played it. Honestly, not too many of my characters have like backstories. I just be the character and I'll just go for the night. Like I play a nurse character when I'm in the prison, and I should probably write up a backstory for that one if I'm gonna just keep doing it every season. Uh, but outside of that, no, I don't have backstories for any of my characters. I just go.
It adds to the mystery of them in some ways. I know some people go super in depth with their backstories. Even myself, like I kind of gave Rivets a bit of a backstory, but I mean, nobody's sitting there listening to it, right? You know, you're just kind of acting, especially when you're in a spot or you're in a room. But even out on the line, like you know, you're not sitting there giving somebody the whole novelization version of the history. But I mean, I'm sure when people look at these characters, there's a sense of wonder. So to have no backstory is kind of like having a backstory where it does something just different. It adds to that curiosity and that mystery that even you can get creative with it whenever you want, right? Like you could kind of
Yeah.
think of a different backstory each night or you're feeling different. You come with a different perspective each night, and then you don't have to be locked into one thing. But I'm sure with your theater background, it's easy to kind of not only slide into that role, but tweak the role if you have to, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
So, um, as far as the upcoming off-season events, we just had Krampus, but it'll be Love Bites in February. Are you planning on doing that again with 13th floor?
Oh, for sure. I love bites. I I love the vampires, and we all just get to get like we just all get bloody makeup, which I love that. Um, I always enjoy the costumes that Danny puts us in, and seeing how the haunt gets decorated. And Love Bites is kind of like probably the most interactive like off-season event we do. So like that's a really enjoyable aspect of it as well.
Tyler talked about it when he came on and talked about how it's like going to the in-laws basically, or going to the other side of the family when you're up at 13th floor Chicago. So is it cool to get a chance to see a lot of faces that you don't normally get to see during the regular haunt season, or are you able to connect with them kind of throughout the rest of the year through, I don't know, conventions or even your own free time?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love seeing the 13th floor homies. There's a couple that I keep in touch with, like outside of the off-season events, where I'm like, let's get together, let's hang out, stuff like that. Um, and I go to the conventions and I see the people at the conventions, which is fun and lovely. And the general manager over there, I'm really close with. So like I see her a lot. Like I'm gonna go see her actually on like Wednesday. But it's just such a treat. Yeah, every time I go over there and see him, I'm like, oh my God, more haunt homies. Hey.
That is so cool. Yeah, I like there's a number of haunts within the Chicagoland area that have that, but I don't think they have it quite as lovely as you guys do, especially with the fact that you've got a lot of characters from 13th floor Chicago that will come and help with the prison, especially with the prison still being so new, like Danny, who will come and help. But even the whole Nightmare Forge group that are able to bring their expertise to both haunts, which is such a cool thing to see. I saw Tyler. I don't know if it was on Danny's story or if she Snapchatted it to me of just like him like hanging a bunch of the Christmas lights at 13th floor, but then I'll see Danny snaps from when she's at the prison during the summer.
Yeah. Tyler did that whole light show for Krampus and he killed it and it was wonderful. Um, it's 10 out of 10 light show.
Was he there? Because I know he was at Midnight Terror for at least Sunday night. Did he get a chance to see his baby in action that whole light show?
Oh yeah, for sure. He was there on Friday and Saturday and showed it to us, a couple of us inmates on Saturday. So we even got to see it. But yeah, it was really stellar.
We went to Midnight Terror last night. It was myself and Caleb Wimbush of Hell's Gate Zombie Army, as well as a few other cast and characters that were there as well. Some were in line, of course, acting. Tyler was one of them. Alex Wode, and then Judo from Evil Intentions was there, carrying around a bucket of worms, and finds me right away as soon as I walked in, and I may or may not have had to put a worm on my tongue. And honestly, the worst part about it wasn't even the worm itself. It was the dirt that's like left over. And so like it's in between your teeth afterwards. And I'm like, this is just never again. And
Worms?
real worms. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not proud of that one. Not at all. I'm not at all. Emma Von Zombie was in the line ahead of us. And the funny connection there is if anybody has listened to that episode of the podcast, she made me eat crickets one time and I didn't realize. I thought they were just beans, and she was like, "Oh no, there were dried crickets in that bag as well. So you may have eaten a couple cricket legs." And I was like, "Oh, it was dark. I didn't realize that." She said, "Yeah, but like they were either like chili powder or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, that doesn't make it any less crickety. That's still a cricket leg." So that's disgusting.
Hug.
Yeah. Caleb was supposed to be videoing too. He had his phone out, and I thought, at least I'm doing this for a video, right? And then I was asking him for the video, and he said, "Oh, no, I actually don't have it." And I was like, wow. So I ate a worm for nothing. Not actually. I didn't bite down and I didn't swallow the worm.
Just licked it.
But yeah, I let them sit right there and was tasting dirt the whole rest of the night. It was great. It was
Did
great.
you give the worm back? Did you put it back in the bucket or?
I did give the worm back. I didn't put it back in the bucket because Judo had walked away. But there were two actors on stilts. One of them had you'd get a kick out of it. One of them was drumming, and the other one had cymbals. And I
Oh,
put the
God.
worm on the cymbal, and I told him, I'm like, just don't smash my little wormy dude there.
Right.
So yeah, if you cut a worm in half, both sides grow back into new worms, which is a crazy thing. So I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to multiply their worm inventory at that point. So,
He could be trying to get more customers to eat worms.
right? It was like that. I mentioned that book. I was like, you ever read the book How to Eat Fried Worms? It was not what I intended that night, but hey, it was better than a couple years ago. We went to Midnight Terror, and we were in line, and it got to be so late that everybody was like, "Let's go get food after." And I had never had shawarma. I did not realize tahini sauce is sesame seeds all ground up. And I know I'm allergic to sesame seeds. I just didn't know what tahini sauce was. And yeah, little did I know, a couple bites in, next thing I know, I'm at the emergency room at Elmhurst Hospital.
Yeah.
So definitely last night's experience at Midnight Terror was way better than that.
Yeah, going to the hospital because of an allergic reaction. That's
Going
not
to the
good.
bar after rather than the hospital is a step up for sure. So are you going to get a chance to go out and see? Well, actually, I think the only other Christmas haunt that's open is next weekend is Disturbia,
Oh,
Twisted Elves, Friday and Saturday. Did you get a chance to go out and see anything else other than just acting at 13th Floor?
honestly, no, I've not. I will not be at Disturbia next week. Have family Christmas parties. I know Dungeon of Doom was open, but I was like just didn't know of it like soon enough, so I didn't end up going. I the only ever like I've only been to one Christmas haunt, and it was Midnight Terror, like in like 2022, I think.
Okay,
That's the last time I've been to a Christmas haunt.
I think that might have been the year that I was there and ended up in the ER. It was either that or yeah, I think it had to have been 2022. But yeah, no, Midnight Terrors is a great one. I know everybody because they're open the Friday through the Sunday ends up going and guest acting there on the Sunday. And you know, other haunts. I know you guys though at 13th Floor end up doing the Sunday as well. It's the whole weekend, so it's tougher to get out there. You mentioned Christmas on the horizon, other than just Christmas haunts. Have you done all of your Christmas shopping at this point, or are you behind?
I'm still kind of behind. Gotta
I'm in
shop
the same
for
boat.
gotta shop for the niece and nephew and the grandparents and the brother and sister-in-law. So
Yeah,
weird
yeah, I've totally
Christmas to
started.
be part of, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's this is what you do. You just get a bunch of those treasures that you found at the end of the nights at the prison, and hey, mom, here's some brand new hoop earrings, even though they're not your style, maybe.
Second, hand-me-downs from random customers, man. Here's some kitty ears.
Here's 10 acrylic nails. Why are they all different colors and different sizes? I don't question
Friendship.
it. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be too funny. Oh my gosh. Do you guys have an end of the year party for 13th floor or for the prison itself? Or do you kind of just roll into the next off season haunt?
We do a 13th floor and Joliet Prison combined cast party, which is always just a blast. We typically do karaoke and we have catering, and then we do like seasonal awards, and then the last couple of years Erica's actually been putting together like a slideshow, like movie slideshow thing of all of our haunt memories from this season. So that's always fun to see, like, okay, what kind of memories were 13th floor making? What kind of memories were we making? And all this stuff. And looking back at just the amount of fun we had during the season.
That's so great. Especially, for those that don't get a chance to see the other haunt. I know there's off days and I'm sure people venture out to see the sister, brother, sister haunt and stuff like that. But some people that are stuck in their roles at the one maybe don't get a chance to go and see the others. So it's I like that you guys do it together. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, me too. And they have a bit more like space for us to all just mingle and hang out, which is also nice.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that is cool. What is on the horizon for you for next year? Of course, we talked about some of the off-season haunts, but are you looking forward to conventions and then, of course, a whole nother drum corps season and then another busy year at the prison?
Yeah, so I'll be doing Love Bites, and then we'll have Halfway, which is always such a fun time because we host, and then I plan to go to MHC, and then actually because I'm too old now, I'm done with drum corps. I've aged out.
Oh,
Yeah. So this summer will hold a lot of different new opportunities than what my summers have looked like. So maybe just volunteering for some drum corps, obviously seeing shows, and then just trying to work over the summer, see if prison needs any help with stuff, and um yeah, just take on all that, and maybe I'll travel over the summer. Who knows? Who knows? Um and then haunt season will be here, and we'll be doing it all over again, and it'll be fun and it'll be great, and I'm excited.
no kidding. You'll get that travel bug because you will have been used to traveling all those other previous summers. So yeah, probably no doubt. Um, if there's one thing summer is known for around these parts is baseball season for those that are fans. I did see it was after I interviewed Zach, so we didn't mention it in that podcast, but there will be a Joliet Slammers, also of course named after Prison City Joliet Slammers. There's going to be a game held at the prison. Uh, it's going to be, of course, on the other side where they have more of. I think there might even still be a baseball field out there from when they had baseball going on. I don't know how up to date it is, but the Slammers will play. It's not going to be smack dab in the middle of summer, but I think it's
I
somewhere
think
in
it's in
April.
April. Yeah, April.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to go. Are
I
you
think
going?
I'll be there too. We mostly cover with my broadcasting through Elgin through WRMN. We mostly cover the Boomers who are right here in my backyard, but same league. So I don't know if they're playing the Boomers. Oh no, it sounds like they were playing a local team because it's just an exhibition game. But still, I mean that's going to be something cool to see. Different, completely different setting, but kind of going back to the roots of Joliet in a way.
Yeah. I would I'm gonna have to try to go out and see because it'd be really interesting. And baseball's cool. I mean I like baseball.
Yeah, I got to my first Slammers game last year covering Boomers baseball, and the stadium itself is really nice. Similar build to the one here in Schaumburg because it was the same company, just built a year away from each other, and so I saw a lot of that like minor league baseball feel. But the nice thing about Joliet, I don't get me wrong, love what's in my backyard over here in Schaumburg, but the nice thing about Joliet's is they have that Steel City touch to it, and you see that with the different things on the concourse, but also the train running right by there, and then also just the people you'll meet there is pretty cool too. So Prison City, Steel City, they've kind of encapsulated all of that. So there's a lot of history to be had down there in Joliet, and I mean it all kind of revolves back to the old Joliet prison. So it's cool that you guys get to work in something that is such a staple in that area.
Oh, it's just so pretty too, honestly, the building. It's so
It
beautiful.
is, yeah, that limestone. I didn't realize until it was MHC the Friday night that you guys had hosted back in 2022. No, 2023.
I
So yeah,
think
that was the first year that I did MHC, and uh, I didn't realize that it was the prisoners themselves that had built those walls, mining limestone from the quarry that was right back there, which is now that water tower and the parking lot for the actors.
yeah, it's crazy to like just to walk up to the building or be in the building and be like, inmates built this. People built this. Inmates.
The funny thing is they were the inmates that built the building, and now you guys are the inmates that are like basically keeping it alive and building the haunt. So I mean, there's always inmates building, right? So That's it's kind of full circle, or history repeating itself in a sense, in good ways too, you know. So all right. Well, with Christmas on the horizon, I will let you get to any kind of Christmas shopping. Before I let you go, though, where can people find you if they want to connect with you, especially if they want to pick your brain, whether that be drum corps or your musical talents or your haunting talents?
Yes. My Instagram is mighty.megatron7.
There it is. All right. Heck yeah.
Mighty.megatron7. Pretty much just Instagram. If people want to find me on Facebook, they can just look up my name.
Yeah, yeah. Not the Michael Bay version of Megatron, just the actual Megan McIntyre. Thank you again for hopping on. Did you have any last minute messages for anybody out there, whether it's the haunt world, drum corps world, anybody you want to shout out?
Just shout out everyone that I work with at the haunt, 13th and the prison. Y'all were killing it at Krampus this weekend. That event made me nothing but absolute joy and happiness. And just shout out you, hashtag favorite podcaster right here.
I knew it was coming at some point. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it's my favorite podcaster. It's a bit at this point.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm honored to be somebody's favorite podcaster too. That's makes me feel like I'm doing something special here. But really, the like 95% of my content is the cool people I have on, like you guys. So I'm just grateful for that. So, but yeah,
no, we're all grateful for you because you're so good at interviewing us and you come prepared. You're like the Nardwar, but for haunt podcasting. I'm like, Nardwar picking up trinkets and stuff. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, somebody else were we talking about that? Somebody was telling me about that. I'm the Nardwar of that. I'll take it. I like it.
I don't think I've said that before. I don't know. Maybe someone, that'd be crazy. Multiple people have compared you to Nardwar.
Either that or you know who I take a lot of inspiration from, I think I've said it on here before, is Sean Evans from Hot Ones. But even he has said that he's taken inspiration from Nardwar. So I guess it's a little bit of a domino effect. So I like it. I like it. So, but Megan McIntyre, Megatron, thank you again. And we will see you at not only Love Bites, but the Old Joliet Haunted Prison in the coming year.
Oh, yes. Y'all, I've had so much fun on your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you that are listening or watching, happy whatever you celebrate. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Eid, New Year, of course, is coming up. And best wishes in the new year for everybody, their haunts, everybody achieving whatever their goals are, or as they say, resolutions. I set goals. I don't set resolutions. You drop that by the end of January. Oh, my resolution is to go to the gym. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're gonna get a gym membership for 3 weeks and never go again. You know, so you gotta have goals. So good luck to everybody. And yeah, thank you again. We will talk to you in the new year.
Yay!
2026. Stay safe, everyone.